Hello, everyone. Thanks for stopping by the Mike and Matt podcast, where we give you free knowledge to help boost your reselling journey. We're going to be having the show every 2 weeks and have a special guest on each time. My name is Matt, and this is my co-host, Mike, also known as Jiggly.Thrift. Today, we're having on Ethan, also known as the College Reseller. Ever since I first met Ethan, I was impressed with his drive to hustle and make money at just such a young age. I'm really excited to have Ethan on so we can learn a little bit about his reselling journey and tips that he may have to help others as well. Really quick, I want to give a shout out to iDPRT for sponsoring this podcast. iDPRT has been a #1 thermal label printer and recommended seller on Amazon many times. They're affordable, use no ink, and have really high printing quality. Their newer slim design is the SP410, where you can load the labels directly through the back of the printer. They also have the popular SP420 model, where you can load the labels inside of the printer. If you're interested in trying an iDPRT thermal label printer, make sure to check the link below. They're always running really great specials. All right, let's go ahead and bring on Ethan, the College Reseller. There he is. What's going on, Ethan?
Welcome to the show.
Do you have a thermal label printer?
I do.
What do you have?
I believe it is the 410 model of the iDPRT.
Oh, you do? Oh.
Yes.
Well, iDPRT is going to give you another thermal label printer, the SP410 model. So
that's awesome.
So if you know someone who needs a thermal label printer, just give them your old one or the new one or whatever. And
yeah, I think I'll pass along the old one and I'll take the new one.
Okay. Sounds great. Well, how's your day going?
It's going good. Today was moving day. We are fully packed and loaded to go back to college for the last semester. And so I am very tired. We've been up since 8 a.m. this morning, moving stuff out. Got 100 and I just took a look at my eBay and I got 182 items moved out of my store. It's an update from when it fully loaded earlier. It's 182 items. So,
what are you purging old stuff?
Purging old stuff, purging stuff that wasn't my favorite thing that I was selling, and I wasn't emotionally attached to it. And so it's all out, and I am a new person for 2022.
There you go. Yeah.
2022, you're feeling better. Get rid of it. Leave that stuff in the past. Too.
I got some stuff from like garage sales I got for practically nothing that I just picked up. I was like, oh, I'm going to list this and see what happens. Like when I first started, and some of it sold, but most of it was just junk. And it was like, I'm kind of tired of sending offers on it and putting it on sale. So I'm like at the point where I'm about to just purge that and just focus on brand name stuff that has like consistent history of, sold items and stuff. That way less I have to manage.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
I was just going to say that was my big problem, like just buying anything and everything back whenever I had like a real job in addition to reselling. Because, I'd have to like make the most out of every thrift trip, So you have a whole day of work and then you can maybe get to one thrift store. So you have to like really stretch what you can find, maybe pay $4 for something you can flip for 12, just stuff that I wouldn't necessarily pick up now that I'm full time. I spent a lot of time like revising listings in my store, but I've never, I'm afraid to bite the bullet and sorry, I almost knocked my phone down. I'm afraid to like get rid of anything that I paid money for. I don't know. It just makes me feel like scared.
Well, you can at least sell it for what you paid for it too,
Yeah, I could do that too.
Yeah.
All right. So you mentioned you are cleaning out your store. Do you, other than that, would you say you've learned or discovered anything new that you'd like to share with other people that are currently reselling?
Sure. I think two things come to mind. The actual part of reselling, of comparison, is a big one. Having the people that are your friends or even your family that resell, and comparing yourselves to them. Everything is on social media is shown as a highlight reel, and not everybody shows the bad things. There's a certain few of us that do. But I think that a lot of times it's just a highlight reel, and sometimes you can get caught up in the fact that you are not doing as well as some other people. One person I saw I don't know if you saw this, Mike, but it was a shoe guy that sold his 90-day total was $500,000, which is nuts.
That's crazy.
He said he wants to gross $3 to $4 million off of shoes, and so that's new and used, and so it's crazy because I'm sitting here measly way under that, and I'm like, well, am I even a good reseller if I'm not at this point? And I still have to remind myself that I'm still new to this technically. I mean, I'm only a year in technically.
That's an amazing tip. Like, don't compare yourself to other people. Like, I learned that so quick because, like, yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, like, you know, you look up to the people that like, oh, that 90-day total is ridiculous, or they're only selling shoes. I want to be more like them. But like, can you imagine the amount of shoes you'd have to touch to $3 to $4 million, like a year?
A year, yeah.
Like, I couldn't even, like, I bet you're making more than enough money to get by and then some selling. How many pairs would you say you sell a day? Shoes?
Today I sold 7. And
7?
so that would pay for my grocery money for 2 or 3 weeks. So
see, it's like,
I think it's really about $2 million, not 3 or 4 million. 90 days,
just settle for $2 million.
Yeah, only 12 months in a year. That would be like 24 months a year. I was like, wait, that doesn't sound right. All right, what kind of items are you selling lately? If you like to mention some brands as well to keep an eye out for.
Oh, for sure. Shoes. After the purge of today, it's all shoes. I think I have 2 bins of clothing left that I just know they're grails and stuff like that are NASCAR from the 90s and stuff like that I know that will sell eventually, but I'm done with picking up clothing unless I know that it's expensive stuff. Yeah. Really good. In terms of brands, you got the basics. You got the On Clouds, Hoka's, the New Balance 990s. In terms of like new ones, like newer brands to me that I've picked up is a wilder brand is Kuru. There's also one called Stegman. I might be pronouncing that wrong. Mike, I don't know if you've ever heard of those.
What is
before. It? Stegman. That might not be the right word.
Is it like shoes. A dress shoe or something?
Nope, they're like a wool shoe.
It's I've
never heard of it either. I picked them up yesterday, and they sell for like $45, like
crazy
pre-owned. And then the other one would be Haan. I didn't know that Haan, probably 3 or 4 months ago, I didn't know they did tennis shoes. And yesterday I found 4 or 5 pairs of just running shoes, and they sell for crazy money. I think one of the pairs that I found, they're brand new. I paid $25 for them. I paid up for them, and I'll probably sell them for $115.
Wow.
Yeah. I feel like lately, just like really last couple of weeks, I've been really trying to focus more on picking up stuff that sells for a little bit more money. I've just been trying to be a little bit more selective and try to just go hit up more stores and just look for stuff that's selling for more money. But at the same time, like I picked up something the other day. I'll probably make a video about it. I picked up an ice cream scoop for $1 that sells for $10. But for me, it's like if it's something that's real easy, point and shoot, take photos of, and it's like so easy to package and ship, something like that, like, and it's cheap enough. I mean, it's kind of hard for me to not pick it up, knowing that I can make a pretty easy profit on something that doesn't take long at all to list. But if it's like I've got to test something and really do a lot of cleaning on something, then lately I've been real selective, not wanting to pick up little stuff like that, because trying to list 10 items to make $80 and I spend forever cleaning it all and stuff, it's just not worth the time. So
to kind of like build on top of that, I guess, of what you're saying, would you guys agree or disagree that like not all listings are the same on eBay? Like if you list like a $10 item, if you list like have you guys noticed, like I swear, because I would pick up just random things, and some days I'd be like, I'm just gonna have a nice easy listing day and just list like a couple like keychains or something, like 15-20 keychains. Like maybe it would amount to I bought a big giant lot of vintage keychains at Goodwill. That's why I don't just go out and source one keychain at a time. But But yeah, I noticed whenever I was listing those, like I'd knock out 20 listings. They might total, maybe $100 for all 20 keychains, as compared to like if you list, like
Shirts, shoes.
several $100 worth of shoes. You know what? I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like if
Oh.
you list like higher money items, you have more sales compared to like if you list like a ton of items at like less money. Have you guys ever noticed that? Like right now, it is absolutely because
the only thing I could think of to compare to is over the summer I picked up like 150 vintage pinback buttons. A lot of them had like cool sayings on there, or somewhere like just like probably old businesses that closed down, and it was kind of. But I only paid $5 for them. And it took me a few days to list them all, but there was days where I knocked out like 30 in a couple hours because they're so easy to list. And not all of them sell for a lot of money, but I've definitely made a lot of money out of it. And they're so easy to ship. That's what I really like about it. So I think there could be perks with stuff that sells for more money, but it may take you a longer time because you got to clean the shoes if they're dirty, things like that. But I think you just got to be really picky with what you're picking up. If it's not selling for a lot of money, it's got to be something that's just basically point and shoot, take a picture and list it. Doesn't need a lot of research or doesn't need a lot of cleaning or fixing or anything like that.
I guess what I'm trying to say is like on a day where I list 5 things for $500 compared to listing 50 things for $50, I have better sales on the days where I pump like more money's worth of inventory into my store. Like I feel like eBay, pays more attention to like what amount of money you're putting into your store compared to like, because you know how people say like, oh, I'm just gonna list just 5 random things or like the one cheap thing to stay in the algorithm of eBay or whatever it is. I've definitely noticed like, because this year I've been trying to, instead of pick like a certain amount of listings per day, I've been trying to pick like a certain amount of profit per day to list, I guess. So,
I try to list what I want to make in profit a day, if not a little bit over that. So whether it's, a couple things, 5 things I'm listing or 10 things I'm listing, but at the same time, I'm also having to price stuff for my booth too. So it's like, that's kind of like another thing for me. So it's
how do you do your listings, Ethan? Do you do like a certain number of like listings or a certain like dollar amount you list per day?
I have never done the dollar amount. That is like the second or third time I've ever heard somebody doing it for profit, like the amount of profit. I've always, so my idea of posting on eBay is like, I call it feeding the algorithm. It's just as much as I can pump into it without, like, I'll spread some stuff out. So like I guess I'll kind of go a little bit of both. So for example, the other day I had a pair of Vapor Maxes, which if you know what those are $125, $130 shoes every day. And so I had those, and I had a pair of Hokas, and I had a pair of New Balances 990s that were all really $80+ shoes every day. So I spread those out over 2 days. And I did not notice a dip in sales because I posted the Hokas and New Balances together, and I posted the Vapor Maxes the day after. And again, they're different price ranges, but I don't feel like I posted something where it was like, I feel like if you feed it, no matter what it is, I feel like price matters. But I feel like if you post no matter what it is, you're going to get a sale. I feel like any marketplace, that's Facebook, that's Poshmark, that's Mercari. Even though Poshmark is more like a social media app, like I feel like whenever I post on Poshmark, like I get way more sales when I post over 8 listings than I do when I post 5. So I feel like my magic number for eBay is in between 12 and 15 a day. And my magic number for Poshmark, from what I've understood, is 8 to 9 at least. And so that's just kind of something that I've learned over the last few months, especially posting with Vendu, having that ability to not actually have to go into each individual marketplace and list consecutively, like list of VMAXs here, then list it here, then list it here. So I'll just post on eBay, and then I'll go back a few days, and I'll post the stuff that I posted a few days ago on eBay and post those to the rest of the stuff. And so it's just a continuous cycle that, I don't know. I don't think I have like what you said. I don't think I have a profit mark. I think I have a listing mark.
The only thing I'll say with, I think listing daily and keeping the algorithm happy definitely does help keep sales coming through.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say that if you do list a lot of like not so high in demand items and you do that consecutively for days, I've kind of noticed that sales seem to kind of slow down a little bit if it's slower moving items, because I'm not really pumping anything in there that's higher moving items. Because what happens is if I list a lot of good stuff, like good and slower moving items, I end up selling the better stuff fast. The slower items, slower. But if I'm just feeding it just a bunch of slow items, it seems like it doesn't really boost my sales. It's like if you almost want to like make sure you're putting some stuff in there that's higher demand, like at least a few a day, But then again, sometimes I will be like, okay, sales have been good, so I have some stuff that I need to get listed because it's just sitting in my house and maybe slower moving items. But then after that, I may spend a few days just listing higher demand items, So it seems like it just kind of equals out. But anyways, you want to hop into the one about the flaws?
Yeah. All right. So, will you pick up shoes that have damage as far as like, no insoles, rips, tears, minimal stains? What are your limits when it comes to flaws?
Okay. I will go shoes without laces and insoles, and here's why. You can find insoles if you have a bin store, a Goodwill bin store next to you. You can take insoles and laces basically without people batting an eye at you. As long as they're crappy shoes, nobody's gonna if you take them from good shoes, then you're gonna get judged. But if you take them from crappy shoes, people are gonna leave anyways. I have enough insoles that
I don't think anybody can tell you what to do or what not to do with the Goodwill bins for one.
That's true.
Yeah.
But if it's good shoes, you might as well take the good shoes.
Yeah. If someone tries to tell you what to do with the Goodwill bins, you just turn and maybe growl at them. Yeah. Maybe like try to bite them or something.
Yeah.
They won't tell you what to do again.
Yeah. Our bins are pretty civilized. I don't know. I feel like there's different levels of bins. Like I've been to all 3 of the bins in South Carolina, and you can definitely tell which one is more civilized than the other ones. Like the ones where Harry Tornado goes, those are crazy. And I hated going in there because there's these massive bins and there's people fighting over bins and stuff like that. And the one in Greenville it's kind of like that. I feel like it's a little bit more civil, but where I'm at is there's no hard goods, which is amazing. And so it's all clothing, shoes, and then there's some hard goods thrown in, but it's when people aren't there. So it's like at 6 o'clock in the afternoon and stuff like that, where it's just like people aren't there. And so it's just like when the clutch times of like when people are there the most, in between 9 and 1 o'clock, it's all shoes and clothing. And that's when I feel like I get the most profit out of it. And it's like, okay, people aren't going to judge me for looking at these shoes just so I can take the insoles and the laces, and so I can just put those into a shoe that needs insoles or a shoe that needs laces. Like I just did that with a pair of foam posits where I had laces that were the exact same color as the ones that were on, and they honestly would have been nicer than the laces that I would have gone and bought from like a Dollar Tree or something like that.
Yeah. So other than missing insoles or laces, are there any other flaws that or anything that you look for in shoes before you pick them up that you would say are like kind of high priority? Like,
I'd say in terms of like, I'm going to steal it from Renzi. And Mike, I'm sure you've heard this one where it's the 3 T's. It's tongue, tread, and then the toe. So you look at the toe box, make sure that that's all good. You look at the tread, make sure that there's no bubble pops or there's any bubbles in the shoe or there's any wear or anything. And then the tongue, in just terms of looking at the tongue, if it's super dirty, if it's super stained, if it makes the shoe look terrible because the tongue's terrible, and that top part. So when I say tongue, I mean top and the actual tongue of the shoe. So anything that's stained on top of that.
Probably being
tag.
able to read the
The other
model
one.
Size
number
tag.
or size.
That's the other one. So it's technically 4, right?
Yeah, being able to.
I'm
read
adding
the
another one. It's 3, but I'm adding another one.
Yeah.
Toes, tread, tag.
Yep.
Well, the tag is usually part of the tongue, but not always. Sometimes it's on the inside the
It's
side.
I
on the
know
inside of the
exactly what
shoe.
you're
I forgot
talking
that.
about, and that's great because I like, as far as shoes go, like I pick up some questionable pairs just because I'm like, they'd sell for 40 if they were in good condition. I'll sell them for 20. I'm not extremely picky, but something I started asking myself was like, would I wear these? Like, because I'd pick up pairs and I'm like, oh, these will clean up nice. The tread's a little questionable, but they'll clean up nice,
Mm-hmm.
And like, I wouldn't wear a pair of shoes with like a worn out tread. I wouldn't feel safe wearing them. So that's, I definitely try to ask myself, like, would I wear these or feel safe in them? Like,
yeah. I'm glad you mentioned too about the insoles at the Goodwill bins because that's I mean I don't always find shoes that are missing insoles, but sometimes I need some, and that's a great way to source for those, and you can get them probably for really cheap as well. So I don't have any bin stores around me, unfortunately. I like to go travel one day so I can go to some, but if you sell shoes and you have bin store around you and you need some extra insoles while you're there, maybe pick some up. So that's a good
Just
tip.
don't take all of them from us. Don't go in there and steal all.
Yeah, I wouldn't go just taking them because then it makes it probably hard for some other people that want shoes and stuff. But
I take sparingly. I don't take them like I don't go through all the shoes because
right,
some people actually need those shoes. Like they're
right.
there
Mhm.
because they need, but like the ones that have like jaggedy holes and stuff in it, that the insoles are
Shoes are bad condition.
fine. Yeah, like the shoes are trash and
torn,
the reason they're there is trash. You can take the insole, and I feel like that's
Right.
normal. But if the shoe's a decent shoe, like somebody can still wear it, there's no need to take it.
No need to take it. Yeah,
Mhm.
unless the insoles are like high dollar insoles in there, then
Okay, well then we have Mike who comes in with his first $1 million video, $140 insoles.
I want to ask you. It looks like on your Instagram, you're maybe working out of a storage unit. What's your setup like? Are you in a dorm or are you in a house or?
So it's an apartment. So
Okay.
we split an apartment between the 4 of us. And so it's one of those things where I didn't want to crowd my roommates out of all of my shoes. This is not kind. And
Very
so
considerate of you.
I have a storage unit. So I run out of a 10 by 11, technically. It's a 10 by 10. And so it has a power cable access. And so I can hook up to power and I can print and I can take pictures in there and
Nice.
all of my inventory's in there. And my roommates will say, I probably spend more time there than I do at the house sometimes, just because I like being in there and being around my inventory and stuff like that. Working in there allows me to not be distracted. Because
I was going to ask if your roommates are loud or typical college, kids or.
Yeah, my roommates are pretty good. They're pretty quiet, but I
Okay.
think the thing is that like I get way more work done when I'm by myself. So even with people around me, even if they are quiet, I get distracted. Perks of having ADHD. So
Is your storage close by your place?
it's 10, 15 minutes. So it's a little bit of a drive, but it's not anything where like it's like a hassle to go there. Like it's not like it's a 20 to 30-minute drive where I feel like I'm crawling there just because I have to go. I still have a 2-day handling time. I'll probably increase it to 1 when I'm like fully back in school and like moving through it. But for right now, 2 days is safe because it allows me a day where like if I'm really pushed for a test or something, I don't have to go right in and take it. I try and get it out early because then that helps my eBay and the Poshmark like selling time frame table thing. It doesn't really matter, but I try and like never have a late shipment. That's just something that I go by. It's just people want their items. And with Amazon, they're getting it within 2 to 3 days if they have Prime, and I want to be around that time. Obviously, sending it through USPS is questionable, but you're not going to get the same results as Amazon. But I feel like 10 to 15 minutes is fair. It definitely can be farther from where I'm at.
I have a 2-day handling too. I mainly ship on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday because I'm in an apartment, and it's like I could have the USPS do the scheduled pickup, but there's been like a couple times in the apartment complex where they've had theft with packages, and so it's like it's not a bad neighborhood. It's actually a really nice neighborhood and everything, but there's just been a couple of people that just took advantage of that, and they got caught. But it's like I just don't want to leave packages out there and have to worry about if they even got sent out or not. So
Yeah.
and then most of my stuff is going. A lot of my stuff, I sell a lot of bigger stuff, is going UPS, and a lot of people don't know this, but UPS, maybe not all locations, but I think most locations allow USPS drop off as well. So instead of going to USPS and then going to UPS, you can just drop everything off at UPS, and they'll have a USPS person come and pick up. So I actually
Really?
yeah, the UPS is actually close to me than the USPS, and that's the only place I go most of the time, unless I'm on the other side of town already. Then
Oh wow!
and everything gets delivered on time. I've been doing it like that for a while now. So,
Ethan, before we get too far, I think I heard you right. You said you like to go to your storage unit and hang out with your inventory.
No, yeah. It's
Listen, I just got now. This is your show. Let's hear what you have to say. I don't want to cut you off.
It's one of those things where I don't know. I feel like I get more work done. Mm-hmm. So being around the stuff that I'm working with, and even though I'm not emotionally attached to any of it, like it's not like, oh dang, these shoes are gonna sell, like that's gonna suck kind of a deal. It's just more of like when I'm around it, it helps me focus. Like it's just like this is why I'm here. And being around that area just helps like change my mindset from being like, okay, I'm done with school for right now and we're reselling. Because I feel like whenever I'm in my room, it's like, okay, so I could be doing school, I could be watching YouTube, I could be doing this. Whereas like I'm in my thing, there's limited internet access, like I'm taking pictures, I'm cleaning, I'm listing, like
sounds like you love your job though. I mean, that's great.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I love that you said that so much, because my car, I got it inspected. It needed some work. It's been out of commission for like 2 days. So I haven't been able to go down to my storage unit for like 2 days. I can't wait until tomorrow morning. I'm going to go down there like bright and early and just be around all my stuff. I'm like, does this make me a hoarder? Like I'll go and I'll straighten up shoes and like dust stuff off, pick random pairs, do like the bend test on them and stuff. Because I don't list anything at my storage unit, so I am literally there. Just, I mean, I'll pull orders, but I'll just hang out with my stuff. And I was thinking that made me like a hoarder.
I think that makes you invested in your business. I don't think that makes you a hoarder. I think that means that you care.
Yeah.
Because I know that there's people, especially in my area at school, that do the exact same thing that I do. That'll just throw it in their unit and they hope to find it when somebody sells it. Like they don't care. And I think taking care of your items is just as important. Like, I mean, it sounds stupid, but dusting off your items so that way when people get it, it's not dusty. Like when you have, I mean, for me, when I have shoes, if they fall on the ground and then if they scuff, like I want to clean it so that way when I'm not shipping it, I don't forget. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it's wrong. I think it makes us different because we're not like away from our stuff. And it's just like, oh, when it sells, I'll go see it then. It's just like you're in there, you're doing the work, you're doing what you enjoy, and you're like around what you're enjoying rather than like not caring about it.
I have a little chair made out of USPS boxes, like all stacked up. I'll have to take a picture of it.
That is awesome.
Good idea. All right, Mike, you
probably
want to
like 200-300 boxes just all stacked up for me to sit on.
Want to get to the next question?
Yeah. So you actually already mentioned the brand Haan, but I got a question about it because I remember like the first time we ever talked, I said, "Hi, I like to sell the brand Keen," and you're like, "Hi, my favorite brand to sell is Haan." So I was wondering if that's still true. If Haan is still like a favorite brand of yours. It sounds like it is. You said you picked up some pretty expensive pairs recently.
It's so rare, but it's still one of my favorites. And people are like, "Oh, why is it not Hoka's? Why is it not On Clouds?" It's because like I see those. Like I see them on people's feet. You see them on stuff. I can count on my hands how many times I've seen people wear Haans. But as soon as I have them in my hands, they're gone within days. Like I have a pair that I'll have listed tonight that I guarantee by the end of the weekend they'll be gone.
Every time I pick up a pair, I think of you. I'm like, I gotta get them. I should get them.
It's just instant. I don't know. It's this aura around the brand. It's like it's a brand where you can feel like, oh, like these are kind of like trash, but they're not. They're the total opposite. And everything that I don't think there's been one pair of Cole Haan that have ever sat longer than a week. And so I think for me, I love Keen too. Like you were saying, like Keen's a great brand, but for me, it's just Cole Haan just has this aura around it for me. It's just like whenever I find it, it's just like I know it's gonna sell. Like I'll see you in 3 days when I come pick you back up in the storage unit. Basically, it's
just such like a unique brand. Like between like from the dress shoes with like the Nike soles on them, or like the dress shoes with like the like tennis shoe soles on them, or like I picked up a pair of like suede leather like clogs, like slip on like clogs. There's just like so many different kinds of shoes like made by that brand. They are a very like diverse brand.
Yeah, they're a diverse brand, and they're so known for their like Oxfords that when people see their tennis shoes, they go crazy because they're like, I didn't know that Cole Haan made tennis shoes.
Yeah.
That was my first experience of it. I was like, I didn't know, because I owned a pair of Cole Haan, I think, when I was younger, and I just had remembered the brand the first time I found it. I was like, this is interesting. Looked it up, and I was like, well, this is surprising. It sells for $50, and it's something like, okay, I'll definitely take $650 to $50. That's a no-brainer. And so, I don't know. I feel like it's an underrated brand for sure. It's definitely a Bolo brand, but it's one of those things that it's like,
yeah, I don't find them ever.
They're very rare. And when you find them, they'll go.
Yeah.
It's good to know. I got a question for you. I know you used to do a lot of this. I'm not sure if you still have been because of college and everything, but what's your thoughts on Facebook Marketplace sourcing?
Oh, I do it all the time now. It's one of my favorite things to do. I think what you're referencing to is I used to do a series where I'd go and drive to places and I'd go and pick stuff up. I think everything I've ever picked up on Facebook has always sold.
Are you still buying golf clubs? Because I know you were doing that.
Yeah, I had. Again, it's one of those things. Every single time I buy golf clubs I don't have any golf clubs in my inventory right now because every time I pick them up, they always sell. Nice. I have a set of Dungeons and Dragons figures. I had heard of it like 2 or 3 times ever, like the game. I knew it was a big game that there's people that go and play it, and I didn't know they made figures. I thought it was just a card game. And so they made figures, and there was this one listing, and it popped up 2 minutes. I just happened to be on Facebook, and they were like asking like $60 for it. And I was like, I can give you $45 cash, and I'll come and meet you somewhere. They're like, oh, yes, we just want it out of the house. And so I didn't even look it up. I was just like, you know what? This is just interesting. I have $45 in cash. Let's go pick it up. I looked at the lot. Right now, I had it on bid for $125. It's already up to $175 on bid after a day. Nice. So I've already made my profit on it exponentially. And so
it's only 1 day on auction.
Yeah, it's got 108 items of figures or whatever. I'm potentially going to get $300 from it. So Facebook is fun. Nice. You can catch people slipping on it, but you also can catch resellers on it too, where they're like, "We want this board game for $75." I'm like, it's worth $50. It is.
Yeah, here it's like that. It's like that a lot. And I would say my advice on if you're going to source on Facebook Marketplace is to, you can look up different categories on there or look up local listings, but you really got to filter like the most recent listed, like near you, that's not like shipped items. You can filter all that stuff out. And if you check it daily, or often, then you can tend to find good deals on there. But, you really got to, watch on there. And,
you almost have to get like minute by minute updates. It really seems like, people are.
When stuff's posted too, and it's good stuff, it goes quick. You got to really.
I used to do it all the time with Pokemon cards. Like I'd leave work and just drive like an hour away and pick up someone's childhood Pokemon card collection for like $60. And then Pokemon like started blowing up, and you'd see like a Facebook Marketplace listing and it looked the same. Like it was just a big, like all kinds of cards sprawled out on the floor, but they'd have each one priced individually. So it's like that was the end of my Facebook Marketplace sourcing.
It's so sparing. Like you have to like. The thing that I've learned is that you can't get everything, and so I'll check it like twice a day. But I won't even like do a search. Like I'll just do what's on the front page, and I'll scroll for like a minute, and I'll send either an offer or a text to somebody real fast and just say, hey, like I'm willing to meet up. I can give you X amount of cash. And people sometimes are like, yeah, we'll take it. And then sometimes they're like, oh, we're trying to get this price. And I'm like, okay, that's fair. That's not where I can go, but it's fair. But I've found that like when you take the opportunity, like I split between that and Mercari. I would have never thought you could do Mercari sourcing. I almost sell as many shoes on Mercari as I source.
Oh, wow.
So I sourced 5 pairs of shoes yesterday at Mercari. I probably spent $110 and I'll make $500-$600 from them.
Wow.
Nice.
From what? Like people like
does not know
underlisting and not knowing what they have.
All right, so I wanted to ask you, I was doing a little deep dive on your Instagram. It wasn't too long ago. But anyway, the Gullah Gullah Island plush. Do you remember selling that?
I do.
The Binya Gullah Gullah Island plush for $100?
Yep.
That made me so excited. I loved that show when I was younger. You probably never even saw it, did you?
I wasn't born. So.
Yep. But that wasn't the question. What I wanted to ask was, I know you said you're into shoes and everything, but will you ever pick up plush still? Is that something you'll look at?
Certainly. So I honestly will pick it up if it's a good deal. So like the Benya. I literally was sitting in the shoe section and I saw this random alien figure. I was like, you know what? That's probably worth something. So I went and looked it up. And I literally dropped my phone because I was like picking it up for like 25 cents. And I looked at it, it was $150. There's 3 of them ever sold. And there was none listed. And I was like, it's $150 and I'm paying 25 cents. This is the best thing ever. And sell for that much for 100. But I mean, I was in shock because I was just like, this figure probably shouldn't sell for this much. But the person loved it. The person still messages me every 3 months. They're like, I can't believe we found this. Thank you for giving me a deal.
Well, I mean, at the $100 price point, like it has to be pretty rare. It's amazing, like the potential in plush. Like, I know there's people saying they can do it full time or they do it full time, but I mean, you can go to a thrift store, look at every single plush, and not find a single one worth over $9. Or like you said, you can go and just see one propped up on top. You grab it, and it's worth $100. You know, it's like it's something I wouldn't spend a ton of time on, but there's definitely some hidden gems in the plush.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Speaking of plush, I know a while back you were getting those Goodwill mystery boxes of plush. What's your thoughts on reseller mystery boxes? That's my next question.
It is the worst anticipation thing ever. Because you're sitting there expecting to make money on it. So like with those Goodwill mystery boxes, you're spending $25 plus shipping on the plushes, and you're hoping to make that much. And I did. There's 3 or 4 that sold for $11. I would never do it again. I don't like selling plush. I'm being completely honest. It's not fun for me.
I like selling plush.
Unless I find something like that Benya where it's like $100 plus. Like there is a niche for it, and I feel like people could definitely make a profit off of those things. The mystery boxes has gotten so overcrowded that I haven't gone on that website in months, purely for the reason that like I can't get anything anymore because it was such an untapped market. And then I don't remember who made a video about it. Maybe I did. Somebody else did for sure, and it blew up. And I could not get anything. Like all the wholesale lots were gone. It's a great way to do wholesale if you can get it. None of the jersey, like you cannot get a jersey one, which is one that I would get just because I would want to wear the jerseys. But the jersey ones are so hard to get. Even the plush now is borderline impossible if you wanted to try it. And I mean, it's been months since I've tried it, but I mean, it's a great way to source is through that mystery box, but you also could get terrible ones. You could get like Thai Beanie Babies, which is one of those reseller gems that if you ever find, but it's not.
I ordered a couple of the 5-pound jewelry box from them, and the first one I got was pretty good. I want to say I made like probably $100 off of it. It was just kind of so much to have to go through and look at. The second one wasn't as great, but I will say that it gave me a good bit of inventory for my antique booth. So for trying to sell it online, there wasn't a lot of stuff in there like name brand I could really sell. But for like costume jewelry and stuff, there was actually a good bit of stuff in there. And I would consider buying more unless I found a bunch of jewelry at like a garage sale or something like that for cheap. But I did okay with it, But for selling it online, I wouldn't pick it. I wouldn't pick one of those up. But
I think I have the easiest question in the whole world for you right now. All right, and I'm going to add one part to it. So
I think we already discussed it, anyways.
We've kind of already discussed it, but I wanted to ask. Well, the question was, how old are you, and are you almost done with college? But I wanted to know, where do you go to college? Where is your college? Is it like a big university? Is it or do you not feel comfortable talking about that?
No, it's fine. I don't care. I'm gonna be gone in 6 months, so at that point they can go and try and find me if they wanted to. I am 20. I am starting to realize how old I am by the fact that all these kids that are 14 and 15 years old are way taller than me. And so 20, I go to Anderson University. I played soccer there. I didn't go there to play soccer. I went there for academics. I got an academic scholarship, and I walked onto the team. So, so it's not as big school. You wouldn't recognize it. It's a small college in South Carolina, right next to Clemson. So that's the big one.
Huh.
So I am in running distance of Clemson, basically. It's 20 minutes to Clemson. So I go to those games and watch the football games and stuff like that. And so,
nice.
That's cool.
I got a question for you. It's a 2-part question. Do you collect anything? And have you come across anything recently that you picked up to sell, but you realized that you just could not part with it?
Oh, yes. Okay. Now, I'm not sure if it's here. My brother may have stole it. But So I collect sealed James Bond VHS. I'm a massive James Bond fan. You would never expect that from me.
I never noticed it. I never knew that.
I love the James Bond films. Some of my favorite films. I've watched all of them. I love them. But I pick up as much James Bond stuff as I can. I saw a Facebook ad. Me and my dad have that love language together. So we both love James Bond. And so on Facebook, up where I go to school, there was this woman selling the original movie posters from the James Bond film from like the 70s and the 80s. And so for Christmas, I put them on poster board and I gave them to my dad. And so he has like 6 or 7 posters from James Bond. And so that was pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
And then what I picked up to resell, but I kept it. Oh, it's this Empire Strikes Back full sweater. But it's an all-over print sweater, and it's so cool. I wish I had it with me. I let my brother have it for his like high school Spirit Week thing, and I never.
Is it a vintage piece? A more modern?
No, it's vintage. It's from the 80s.
It's vintage.
Oh yeah, it's from when Star Wars was put out, and it's like this all-over print Empire Strikes Back. I made a video about it long time ago, so it's in my TikTok somewhere. But I kept it. I thought I was going to sell it, but it's too cool to sell.
If I come across some like unique James Bond stuff, I'll let you know before I post
send me a text. I'll definitely buy it.
Maybe something, yeah. I'll give you.
I have some James Bond VHS tapes. I was just thinking I'll send them to you. I got them listed on my store. I don't know anyone else that likes James Bond.
Are they sealed?
No, they're not sealed.
No,
I don't know if you just collect regular ones.
I collect the sealed ones just because, I can watch any of them online, but I'd like the sealed ones just to have like I want to have like the full set eventually. And I may just buy them online, but I want to have the full set eventually of just all of them that are on VHS, because obviously the new one that just came out isn't going to be on there.
Let's see how serious of a VHS still collector you are. Do you have any like graded mint condition or anything? Or you just have them sealed, you just have tucked away?
Yeah, I tuck them away. Like, honestly, they're in my car right now in a very safe space.
Worth a lot. probably worth a lot one day. I mean, sealed VHS is definitely starting to really pick up as of recently. It's been around for a while, but it's definitely getting to be a hot item lately. And I kind of wonder if, it's like you used to always think, oh, VHS are never going to be worth a lot of money, and then now they are starting to get that way.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's possible with CDs or, stuff like that? I mean, we're saying this now, and we'll look back, 10 years later, we didn't think CDs are going to be worth a lot of money, and then hey, there's going to be sealed CDs sold for a lot of money. I don't know. I think CDs are so easy to get scratched and get ruined.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like, I feel like there are some CDs that sell for a decent amount of money.
Yeah.
Like, even
not very many, I don't think, but signed maybe or
I don't know. But yeah, it's crazy how much the VHS tapes have like boomed.
Cassette tapes, yeah. There are some that sell for a good bit. But I think the cassette tapes are still kind of evolving. I mean, there are some that, I don't know, I could be wrong. There may be some that are worth a lot, but there's definitely some VHS tapes that are real popular out there.
I feel like Kevin or Commonwealth Picker definitely brought that whole aura of the VHS thing to the reseller community, because I'm sure that VHS was selling for a lot of people like under the radar. But when he made that one video about Willow selling for over $1,000 or something like that, that just sparked this aura around. And the same thing with Tim or Osborne to Thrift when he got that massive lot of sealed stuff. Like, it brought this aura around it that people were like, oh, now you have to find it. But it's just like, I like finding the things that aren't like that people are like, because now all of the resellers that are not on social media are posting about it, that know those people are now looking for those things, and you can never find sealed stuff anymore because they think, oh, like workout sealed is amazing. Like, it's this like.
I will say though, even though you find a Willow seal doesn't mean you're going to get that much for it. It could, the condition or the watermarks and there's so many, or the stickers on there. There's so many things that can, make or break that. He was telling me about, I don't know if it was the Willow one or if it was, he sold another one. Was it Big or something like that? He sold, I can't remember which one it was. He sold for like $1,740
I
or
think
something.
It was Willow.
Wow.
Willow was the heavy.
There was another one though that he sold for a lot. Maybe it was
Indiana Jones, maybe.
There was another one. I think
he sold that Dumbo one or something with the pink back.
There's
like
another
$500.
There's another one, but I looked at the comps and like most were selling. He had one sell for like close to $1,000, and most were selling for like $200, $300, $400 because, the condition of the sealed and everything like that. Some may have had minor holes in it or things like that. But anyways, all right, Mike, you want to hop into the next one? I think we got a couple questions left and almost done.
So, do you feel like reselling during your time in college, do you feel like it added to your college experience? Do you feel like it gave you more time to enjoy college, or it took away from your college experience? Because I know, sometimes being a reseller, I mean, it could be a 24/7 job. Or do you feel like it gave you more time to enjoy college?
COVID screwed my college experience completely, because my freshman year, COVID hit. And I got forced home, just like every kid in college. Nobody went to college for the second semester. So I honestly, I'm really different in terms of the whole college experience. I don't go out and do stuff on Friday nights like everybody else does. I prefer sitting at home listing stuff. I'm weird like that. And I prefer sitting at home playing video games or watching movies and stuff like that. So I'm not a real big people person, which kind of makes reselling nice. Reselling isn't one of those jobs where you have to be around people unless you want to be. I've had the opportunity to hang out with and talk to Andrew and Tino. So that's Tokyo Thrift and Hidden Isle. Hidden Isle used to post a lot on TikTok. But those guys are my age, and talking with them, they're both introverts like me, and they don't like going out and hanging out and partying and stuff like that. But it's been nice where it's I still have a college experience. I played soccer. I was with the party kids a lot of the time because soccer was just that. It was just go play, and then afterwards you'd go and party. Would hang out with them at the field and stuff. But it's just I don't know. My college experience has been different because of COVID. And I will always say that. It's just, it's the weirdest time I can ever remember. Where the entire world shut down. But I think that's what also made me love reselling, is because the world shut down and everybody wanted things online. And so it actually really helped having the reselling thing, because I was still making money because you couldn't go out and work.
Yeah. I probably wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for COVID. I mean, I may would have, but a lot of things changed during that time. I had a cleaning business that I ran, and but whenever it slowed down is whenever I started having to like get creative to make money, and that's when I started selling stuff on Facebook Marketplace a little bit. I was also like, I used to be a butcher, so I was making like homemade sausage, and I was selling it to some of my clients and stuff. But that was some stuff I was doing on the side. But I think during that time, I was like, I just had more time on my hands, and I started messing around with TikTok. I had a different channel at the time, just for fun, But and then I ended up moving to South Dakota, and then picked up TikTok again, and then here I am. It's like, it's just I never know. But I was going to ask you, Ethan, is there any like part of you that feels like you're going to go back and do more college, or are you going to use any of this college experience like from your degree to get a job in that field, or are you thinking about just focusing more on reselling and just having that degree in case you need it?
I think the big thing is that I actually use marketing. I'm a marketing major, and so I use marketing every day. And having that knowledge of how businesses work and how people work and how advertisements work and stuff like that. Like, I definitely could go and do all of the things. I've done internships. I've done all of the stuff. I could go and do that stuff. I've experienced in different ways, but I don't know. Reselling has been the only job that's ever piqued my interest before, that and soccer. And because I don't play soccer anymore, it's not like I could go and play pro anymore. I'm still at the level where I could go play at a college somewhere else, not the one that I'm at, but I could still go play college somewhere else. But reselling has my interest. And so my goal for a few months after school is to focus on reselling and see where it takes me. We're going to see at the end of this semester of where I'm at. I have a goal of my 90-day total that I'd like to be at, that I feel comfortable that I could basically make it like my salary. And I feel like that would be more than what I would make at a base level job of a marketing job. But I also want to get my real estate license. I really have a passion also for like houses and stuff. I grew up drawing houses and stuff like that. So
Me too.
I'm not an engineer. So I really would like to do something with reselling, whether that's renting to people, whether that's actually selling homes to people as a real estate agent. But yeah, that's the next
I thought I was going to be an architect when I was a kid. For like sixth grade career day, I was an architect. I was always drawing buildings and houses and stuff like that. Didn't work out that way, but
I don't think I wanted to be anything when I was a kid.
Really?
I just always wanted to be retired. That's why I'm so happy doing what I do now.
Yeah, work from home or whatever. Well,
it's definitely nice talking to you, like getting like a nice, fresh, like young perspective.
Right.
Like, you just have like such a positive outlook on life and like the future and stuff. Whereas like, if we were to invite someone on the show that was, our age or a little older than us, kind of already set in our ways. Like, this is what we're doing. We're just talking about it now. But it was nice to like really hear like, oh, I did this when I was a kid. I enjoy doing this. I'm going to do this down the road, like setting goals. It was real refreshing to have a nice conversation with you.
Yeah. I was about to say the same thing. It's been great having you on. I had one last question for you, and it's pretty much the basic question that everybody gets asked is, what advice do you have for someone that wants to get into reselling? I know the obvious answer is, start by selling stuff around your house first before you get too overwhelmed, go and buying a bunch of stuff. But is there anything else that you can think of that is good advice for someone starting out, or you can elaborate on that?
I mean, that's the answer that I gave on Nashville Flippers thing, so I guess I have to change mine now. My thing would be find your niche quickly. You can never not expand from the niche. So what I mean from that is like I spent so much time focusing on what other people were selling and not what I was enjoying selling. Of like you watch all these, I mean, you watch YouTube and you like, oh, Matt's picking up X. I probably should get that stuff if I see it. Like, of course, that's why you guys make videos, and that's why content creation is amazing, because you're giving people advice, and most of the time it's already sold for you guys. But I think like finding your niche and what you enjoy makes reselling so much more fun, more than a job. Because if you're not picking up stuff that you're enjoying, you're not going to list it. You're going to have death piles. You're going to have stuff that you're just going to hate listing. And then like, it's more of a begrudging thing of like, oh God, I got to list this now, instead of like, oh, I actually get to list this. Like I sat downstairs cleaning my shoes for 4 hours and loving it, because it was like, I get to list these and these will all sell for above $60. Like all of them. Like I knew it. And it was just, that's more fun for me than like sitting there and just knowing like, oh, now I gotta list these pants, and I freaking hate pants and can't stand them. I don't even wear pants. Like it's
just underwear for me.
It's where you're at. And so if you don't know, then having an open niche like a Drew with Profit Monsters, or even like you guys do, where it's like you guys, I mean, I can't say that completely, but I don't think that you guys either have like a set thing. Like I know, Mike, you do a lot of shoes, but I don't think that's your set thing. And I know Matt,
I can honestly say, like, I branch out for the sake of trying to make interesting videos. I'm not saying like I base my whole business around the videos, but like if I wasn't creating anything, making any videos, talking, trying to be interesting, I would just go to the thrift store and just do shoes. Because like how you were saying you loved cleaning shoes. For my birthday this year, I had a tub full of like 54 pairs of shoes, and I just cleaned them all day long. You know, like that was my treat to myself. You know, I went sourcing 3 days prior to, found 54 pairs. You know, it wasn't the best, wasn't the worst, but I had that whole day to, just sit there and clean shoes. If I could pick one thing, it would definitely be shoes, but it's just hard to, create and list and post and do, just everything about shoes. So
yeah, I'll say, to add on that, I do pick up a little bit of everything. If I were to say anything whenever I go into the thrift store, the first thing I check is the kitchen section, just because I think I was a cook for a long time and I just enjoy that. But I just always kind of like thought to myself, I need to just keep my eyes open on everything, because I could potentially miss something that's worth a lot of money. So I always try to just learn a little bit about everything. But at the same time, if there's anything that I feel like slows me down, or that just takes up a little bit too much of my time that I could do without, is electronics, because a lot of the times electronics don't work completely and you have to sell for parts, or it just takes a lot of time to test and and then clean and everything. But at the same time, if it's a really good DVD VCR combo worth a lot of money, it's like it's kind of hard to pass it up. So if it's cheap enough. But I did want to elaborate on one thing, is that for either new or people that's been reselling for a long time, is that you can always source. You can always find stuff if you go out and look. I mean, some days you'll have bad days, but if you go out and look, you can always find stuff. But don't just let your pile just keep piling up on you, and just because you just want to keep go out and shopping. That's, to me, that's more of you just enjoy shopping more, but you can always source and find stuff. So just make sure that you're keeping up with the stuff that you're picking up and buying, and don't let it get kind of put aside for too long and then just get overlooked. I do have a pretty good bit of stuff from garage sales left over, but I needed so much because a lot of it's basically stuff that's going in my antique booth. There's only so much that's going online, and I've kind of gotten to the point where it's like, all right, I got to really get more of this stuff priced up and put in my booth. I've been selling a pretty good bit in there too. So, well, it was nice having you on, and yeah. So,
do you have any final words?
Yeah, any final words?
Thank you, iDPRT, for the thermal label printer.
Oh yeah,
I'll shout them out again. I think the big thing that I would say is just like, support your friends. I know that's Harry Tornado's thing, but depending on how many people watch through the entire thing, you see the kindness of Matt and Mike putting somebody that doesn't even put content out anymore on the show. And that means a lot to me. I try and put out stuff on Instagram, but I have gone head deep into reselling, and having the support of your friends and family is super crucial. So that would be my biggest thing. It's not even reselling related. Just support your friends and be kind to those that, because they may be struggling even though you don't even know it. So
we're both thankful we had the opportunity to see your video creation when you were still doing it, because I mean, we didn't even have a doubt in our minds. Like, we both agreed you were like, you had to be the second guest. We both wanted you on. We both agreed. Didn't want to put anyone else. I mean, we had Cincinnati Picker on, but
yeah, that's a big step to follow. I
you
watched
followed.
him. And Matt talks about him
job.
in every live he's ever in. And
yeah, you did a great job though.
That's a big step to follow.
We've got a few people lined up already, and most are, I think the next one doesn't even have a social media channel other than just Instagram posts. So, and then some other ones have some small channels, and then we'll probably eventually have some more bigger channels on. We were gonna just do once a month shows, and then I was like, we got so many people that want to come on, and I just feel like, I just want to have more newer resellers on, or people who have been experienced for a while that can just offer some good knowledge, and let's try to step this up and do this every couple weeks. So, yeah. All right, Ethan, it's been great having you on. See you next time. If you want to hang out for a little bit, we'll chat here in a little bit.
Hey, do you have any like secret talents before we go?
I can do voice impressions, kind of.
You want to show us one?
Oh God.
You can't say it and then just not.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sorry I had to ask you. I've just been thinking about it.
Secret. What is a good impression? I can do Gollum, kind of.
All right.
That's a freaky one, but oh God, I can't look at people because then it's even worse.
Yeah, I won't even look.
You don't have to do it if you don't want to. But
yeah, you don't have to.
You stupid fat hobbitses. You started precious. Precious.
That's pretty good.
Was that something that came natural to you, or did you practice that?
Oh, that's a lot of time being alone.
Oh man, I liked it. Thank you for sharing. I shouldn't have put you on the spot like
that. That question is a new question. I've never been asked about a secret talent. That's probably my secret talent is Gollum.
Yeah, real quick too. Do you have any questions for us?
Oh shoot, I probably do. Freak. So in terms of like, what do you guys use for like your tax system? Because that's been the big thing for me of like, I'm realizing now that I'm 20 years old. Next year, or in June, I'll be 21, and I'm going to have to start, as soon as I move away from my family, I'm going to have to pay taxes. And so I have a spreadsheet going, and I've had a spreadsheet this entire time, but I feel like there's something to expand on, and I don't know what that is, and I'm kind of like nervous in terms of tax time just because I don't know what to do.
Do you ever use like GoDaddy for bookkeeping?
I have QuickBooks, which I guess is the same thing.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. I use GoDaddy and then a spreadsheet for keeping track of everything in my inventory, keeping track of all my receipts. Before I did reselling, I had the cleaning business, and when I was doing that, I was pretty much a sole proprietor. So I've been doing 1099 and stuff like that for a long time myself. So I've always just kept track of my receipts, like my phone bill, like your storage unit for one, your mileage. I mean, keep track of all that stuff. And then, I go through a CPA and do everything like that. So I know that it's all done professionally. I don't really like to give a lot of tax info because I know that it's like I feel like everyone has to do things just a little bit differently. Mm-hmm. So I just recommend to talk to a professional, or I know there are some YouTube channels out there that dive a little bit more into that. I just don't feel like I'm quite ready to. I don't want to give the wrong advice, but But
that's what I always tell everyone. I'm like,
yeah,
keep track of anything that you put into the reselling, keep track of everything you get out of it, pretty much track your plus and minus, and then take those, like I write everything down, just pen and paper. And then I just take everything to a tax person and I say, please do your thing. I don't mess around at all. I mean, I'm sure there's people that you could like listen to and they'll like, oh, I have a spreadsheet for this and I have it down to the penny on the exact hour of whenever I made this money. But me, I'm just, I don't trust myself. I always, my advice would be, go to a professional, 100%.
That was my plan, and it also is helpful that I'm in college and I have accounting professors that I could go and talk to that would probably just be as helpful as a CPA would be. So that was my next step.
There's
and
definitely
then I didn't know how to get a 1 million view video like you guys do. I know it's posting, but I always think it's so funny because it was like the first video that I saw of Mike's was the shoe insole one, and it went crazy. And I was like, so my first video was about a Disney, what was it? Chutes and Ladders game, whatever the Chutes and Ladders game was. I was like, and Mike's video got 1 million views. I was like, I just got to start my TikTok all over. It's just, we're going to go find insoles that are $1 million, and that's my plan.
Well,
but it's so, as far as like, I'm pretty much just started. I couldn't say like how to. It's just so weird because like you could post the same video 3 days in a row. One would get 2,000 views. One could get 2 million views, and one can get 3 views. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's so like just random.
Yeah. I'll tell you this, and one is, put out content that people seem to like, and I tend to put up a lot of the similar content because people just really like it and they like learning about, what to pick up. But it's really just picking something up and saying what it sells for is one thing, but storytelling with it, making a story out of it, elaborating on that item, where the item came from, who made it, how it was made, or or some other items similar to that sells for a lot of money. What I've noticed and what Mike does is storytelling. Like I said, storytelling. That's a really big factor that a lot of people don't think about. But not only storytelling, you need to use like editing software, and we do too. But whenever you just make sure that you don't say the word a lot and pause a lot. You really want it to be a consistent flow, like really pieced together. And that way, because if you say a lot or pause a lot, you're not well planned. You repeat the same words many times throughout a video. What happens is you end up with a 45-second video when you can have a 25-second video. And whenever people are watching it, if you're getting an average watch time of 50% or more, then that video that's 25 seconds versus the one that's 45 seconds, that average watch time is just not there, and it's not going to get pushed like that shorter video. But then again, there are creators that I've seen creators make 3-minute videos. They're just really entertaining, So I said, just make sure it's like, tell a story, tell your story or something, but try to just
that answer was a lot better than mine. I just said it's random. Thanks for elaborating.
I know a lot of people that they draft many videos and then they post, they make many videos in one day and they post. But for me, it's like I post one video because that's what I made that day. And then right after I post that video, I start thinking, what am I going to make tomorrow? What video can I do that's entertaining? Or what's some content that I have that I think is worthy for people to see. There's a lot of stuff I don't use, but it's like I spend all day thinking about how I'm going to do it, how can I say it a certain way to make it entertaining, and then I start working on it, and sometimes it comes out totally different, but sometimes it's how I plan. It's like, and I listen to, I've been reading or I've been learning a lot about creating YouTube content lately, and it was like, if you put a lot of effort and a lot of time in your video, people will see that and people will generally like your video, and and engage with it, leave you comments and things like that. So that may be some other
I think
advice.
that's more of the avenue that I would do, because it's so hard, because I don't pick up the random odds and ends that you guys do that like people can relate to. Shoes is so hard to relate to, because it's like, okay,
That's why I said YouTube is probably
and so YouTube might be the place where I land, and I might just put clips from YouTube onto TikTok, and they may hit, they may not. But it's just one of those things where it's so hard to storytell with shoes, unless you're like, in 2005, X person wore these shoes and now they're used. Welcome to reselling, kind of a deal. And so it's just like, it's so hard to do that.
One thing I'll say to you is, don't be scared to film certain situations. Take your camera with you everywhere. If you're going to go source on Facebook Marketplace, like, I know you don't want to show certain things, but if you're going to go to a thrift store or something, like, maybe, like if you're doing YouTube, film, go in there or something. But what I've seen is, you really want to like show the highlights, only, and just cut out all the junk. Don't, whatever's like, just you feel like it's not good enough, just take it out. Just put the best stuff in there. But even though YouTube is a lot different than TikTok, I think it's very similar to the way that YouTube is moving. A lot of people are making shorter videos on YouTube, and they're really just packing it with the best stuff. And just because if a viewer's watching and it just gets to be kind of like blah blah blah, they're just going to get bored and move on. Whereas you show the best stuff and they watch one and they're like, and it's not too long of a video, then they're like, okay, I'm going to watch another one. I'm going to watch another one. I'm going to watch another one. And what happens is that ends up pushing multiple videos. It raises stats on multiple videos versus just one video. So I don't know. I could talk to you about this for a long time.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things where I gotta find, and YouTube may be that perfect medium for me, because I'm not a great storyteller quickly. I like explaining things long, and so YouTube may be one of those avenues where I might need the next step, which is fine. And I don't feel like, I mean, it is one of those things where I feel like I got passed by a lot of people on TikTok, but I was more happy for them that they were enjoying it. I just really wasn't. It was just like me forcing content that I wasn't even happy with. It was just like I just putting content out basically to get followers and get likes, and that's not what I want to do. I want to show what I enjoy, and that's so hard to show on TikTok, because it's like, if you post anything about shoes, it's just like, well, I could just go buy new ones, and it's just like, no.
Look, like I said before, I was on YouTube for a while. I tried to do a cooking channel for a while one time, and I spent all day, every day, making videos and posting them, and I was getting no subscribers, no views. So I've been there, man. I've totally been there, and I think and I've given up, and I didn't post anything on social media for 6 months at a time or a year at a time, before I tried again or tried it with a new channel. And then I finally did something that it just seems to be working. But, so I would say, maybe you just need more experience, more practice, and what really helps is to watch videos of how to make entertaining videos, find YouTube videos that could give you some tricks and stuff like that. So
yeah,
that's what I would recommend, and just keep trying, So
you're not even old enough to drink yet. You are absolutely crushing it. You're doing fine.
Yeah, you're doing good.
If all I can say is, if you do get back into making videos, I'd say, yeah, try it out on YouTube, because I see like a lot of people that are really succeeding on TikTok, like NC Picker and Part-Time Pickers. I mean, Part-Time Pickers, I think he's put 12 videos up or something. He's almost at 10,000 subscribers on TikTok. Like it's crazy. Like a week's worth of videos, 10K. But like they like, they have like a following on YouTube that's going to follow them on TikTok. But it seems like their videos like cut down into short segments. So they like record the whole long video and then post it in segments on TikTok, and it really does well. It's like a YouTube recap. Like they really seem to be doing well. Like I think, that's the That's what I wish I could do. I wish I was better at doing like the longer.
But they've also made like hundreds of videos. That's why I say
Yeah.
like their content was never like that in the beginning. So just keep pumping them out and just keep trying and pay attention to your analytics. You know, the analytics tell you how your videos are performing, and just try to figure out if your videos are dying off at 20, your average watch time is 50%, and your videos are 40 seconds long, then try to make them shorter and just take out, like I said, just take out all the repeat or pause, or try to just only. I'm really like I said, I could go on talking about this for a long time, but I just really, that's why it takes me so long to put together a video, because I'm trying to think, how can I explain something in the shortest amount of words possible, but still make it entertaining and tell a story, So, anyways, we'll talk more about that. But let's
we
go
are
ahead
hovering on 1.5 hours.
Yeah, because I got a lot to edit this now.
Thanks
All
for
right,
hanging out so long.
Yeah,
No,
we'll get off here and hang out. So, anyways, nice to have you on, and looking forward to have you on again in the future.
Sounds good,
Everybody. Well, that was a great show having Ethan on, and I know that we already got a couple good resellers lined up for the next, couple shows coming up. So, definitely looking forward to it. Anything you want to say to close out the show, Mike?
No, but last time I said no, and what am I supposed to say? Like my links or something? You can find me on Jiggly.Thrift everywhere.
So thank you iDPRT for sponsoring this podcast.
Yeah, that's it.
And, we'll have links down below to all of our channels and our stores and everything if you'd like to check it out. I know a lot of people are always looking for tips like how to list things. You can always just go through our stores and see how we list and do our photos and stuff like that. So, but anyways, let us know down in the comments if you have any questions you would like us to cover in our next episode. And looking forward to seeing you guys again soon. All right. Bye now.
Bye.